a little of my journey and to really get to know your journey. When I learned about this project, I was excited because we often see the professor, we often see the person who's helping us get through the content. But I was reminded of something that as an elementary teacher stuck with me my entire life. They don't care what you know until they know that you care. And while I love being a professor, I don't want my students just to see me as a professor. So I really wanted to take this opportunity just to show you who I am as an educator, as a person, and how my recent student journey. Desra, you should be able to see me now. Just a quick pause. I'm hoping that I'm on video. There we go. Okay, good. So I wanted to share how my recent student journey kind of led me to where I am today. Okay, I'm going to toggle back and forth. I am a techie person, so I do want to just incorporate some media and some visuals into this. So welcome, welcome, welcome. Today, Meet the Majors with Dr. Miller. Like I said, no one started us out with this and no one did it better. So here we go. Our time today is quick, and I'm just going to go through just a couple of things with you. One very important thing is engagement. So I'm going to make sure if you see me looking at my phone, it's just that I want to make sure that we have a lot of time at the end to just kind of get down to what you guys need and want. You came here for a reason, and I want to make sure we meet that purpose. Okay. So when we think about ourselves, we think about things that shape us. And as I was thinking about this presentation, I'll be honest with you, I like to be prepared. So I sat down and I started making a PowerPoint. And then I realized I didn't want to read from a script. I wanted to show you the real raw and just kind of candid picture of who I am. So I'm gonna, like I said, toggle back and forth, but I want to tell you about my story. And the reason I want to tell you about my story is Dr. Miller had said in the first week that people that are accomplished have a story. That's part of what makes us. And you know what? He's right. So I have nothing in front of me, no script, no anything. I'm just going to be real raw and candid and tell you my story. I'm probably going to jump all over the place because that's how I talk, but I hope you can stay with me and just enjoy a little part of who I am. So as I think back to my life and what has shaped me, I can pinpoint very specific things. And I want to just give you a moment to stop and think about if someone were to ask you, who you are, what would you pinpoint? I'm imagining you're probably all thinking of one or two things that might come to your mind immediately. It might really paint the picture of who you are. So when I was doing this, I did think of moments. I thought of things that shaped me. And the first one I have to tell you started back when I was 6. I was going through the grocery store with my brother and my mother, and we were coming up on line. And at the time, this grocery store was very old, and my brother was in a shopping cart in the front seat, and the cart broke. And he slipped out of the cart and he hit his head. Like my mom, like any other mother, would pick him up, coddled him. She went home, got him McDonald's because he was crying in the store, but there was no bumps, bruises, there was no blood. He seemed to be, okay. So she went and put him to sleep. Well, he didn't wake up after about 3-hour nap, and then 4-hour nap, she got concerned and we went right to the hospital. He was in a coma for a very long time, and he was actually full-time in the hospital for 3 years. So as a 6-year-old, my earliest rememberings of school always included him. As I looked back at my writings, I would write about him. I would write about the experience. I would write about so many different things that shaped me to be who I am today. And while this was a traumatic in the moment, I realized later that this was a large part of who I am today. This traumatic experience brought my family together. So when I started to pinpoint these areas that have shaped me as a person and as an educator, I came to many moments of low lows and many moments of high highs. So when I showed you that picture on the screen and that quote, that 2008 was a challenge for me, it also changed me. My pinpoints are those highs and lows. I don't remember the every days. I don't remember the days that were just going on, but I do remember those great moments and some of the more challenging moments. The 3 that I have said, in addition to my brother, let me go back. My brother is here today. He was in the hospital for a full 3 years. After that, he did need to learn how to do everything as a 6-year-old. And again, as a young girl, that was part of my daily life for my entire elementary school, my entire high school, and even later on. I grew a backbone. I learned how to deal with bullying. I learned how to deal with advocating for others. And it just really shaped me to be the person I wanted to be. A large part of my life was the teachers that molded me during that time. Because remember, my family was spending time in the hospital with him. So those teachers were the ones that got me through. And it was very early on that I realized I wanted to be one of those teachers. I wanted to be one of those teachers that got someone through. And it was very early on that I realized my purpose, my why in life was to be an educator. Fast forward to growing up, I received my degree in early childhood education, and I realized I really didn't want to work with little ones. I probably should have thought about that before the degree, huh? But then I went on to teach elementary education. I taught in 5th grade for many years. I actually spoke at my second class's graduation. And funny enough, my first class we called just a role model class. My second class we called the class from, I'm going to let you fill in the blank, but I spoke at their graduation. They were the toughest class ever, but they shaped and changed me to be the educator I am today. So again, as I look back at these experiences, I'm really able to identify who I want to be as a person, who I want to be as an educator. And continued on in the elementary education setting, I went on to get my administration degree, which was great, right? I was young, I was just a trailblazer. I knew what I wanted to do. I was innovative. I had an amazing opportunity under Dr. Richard Carranza to do this awesome residency in Clark County School District. And for those of you that don't know, their budget is in the billions. And I thought that was a mistake. No, 5.2 billion is their annual budget, over 300,000 students. I thought for sure that was what I wanted to do. Guess what? It wasn't. I had to pump the brakes a little bit. And I had to realize that what I wanted as a person and what I wanted as a professional. I knew I wanted to be a professional, but the most important role in my life was mom. So I kind of had to stop and reflect and go back to my whys. My foundation very early on has always been my family. When my brother was injured, I really relied on my family. Later on, fast forward when I had my own children, I really just wanted everything to focus on a better life for them, building a better life for them. So I decided to step out of administration, and then I decided to go into higher education. As a higher education instructor, I had a lot to learn, right? I wasn't quite sure what this whole discussions on Thursday, assignments on Sunday was going to look like. I only knew teaching in a classroom, in front of a classroom. I knew how to do engagement through that. I wasn't quite sure how to do it in a teacher in an online environment. So there was a bit of a learning curve. With that learning curve came trial, error, some tribulations, success, some not so great, lessons, and then some really great lessons. And through all that, I realized that I was in the right spot for me. So that is where I am today. When I look back at who I was and those pinpoints that pop in my head, there are several areas that I can really identify. And I want to just share a few of these, just to tell you about more of who I am. So the first event happened when I was an assistant principal in residency at a school district in California, Deion Green Junior High School, which is in Oxnard, California. I'm not sure if I said this, but I moved to 5 different states in 5 years. And in each of those states, I took on a leadership role. I happened to live in Oxnard, California for one of them. And I was in the school district when there was an in-school shooting of the student Larry King. And at that moment, again, made me realize, just pause and realize that I wanted to make a difference, but I wasn't quite sure how. Fast forward to 2013, I had my 5th grade son. We were coming out of a football game, and our car was caught in the crossfire for a gang shooting. Again, wasn't really sure what I wanted to do, but I knew that I wanted to do something. So those events shaped me to be who I am today. In 2014, I started an educational consulting company and foundation consulting company called One to the First Power. And today that is the motto that I live by. So since 2014, I've really been excited to share the fact that we all have the ability to help someone else, whether it be in a teacher role, which just happens to be what I'm in, or whether it be in an individual's role, to make a power in ourselves to really kind of help shape the world. And in 2018, I was able to go, and that's the picture you saw, I'll share that again, able to go to Haiti, and we were able to teach for a week, sharing our learning, our own knowledge, and really just kind of help through a reader theater approach to help shape some classrooms in Haiti. And that has always been something that has been transformational for me. So as you were thinking about those thought bubbles above your head and what shapes you, I encourage you to continue to go back to those and continue to use those to define who you are and continue to shape who you are as a student, as an individual, as whatever role you are in. But use those major transformations, those pinpoints, to define and help further define and refine who you are. So as we're here today, as I was thinking about those, they really always dialed back to 4 components, okay? And I wanted to just go over those with you. So the foundation, education, experience and opportunities, and passion. For me, my foundation is my family, okay? That is my why. I was able to go to school and my children saw my efforts in school, just like you guys are doing now. And that was something that was very important to me. They saw me struggle. They saw me have difficulty with assignments. They saw me frustrated. And they also saw me succeed. And that was probably one of the best days of my life when they were able to watch me walk across the stage. Being a student is hard. I know you guys know that, but ultimately there is something at the end that you're working for, that you're working towards. And I encourage you just to continue with that. So at the core of my foundation are my beliefs and my family. And that is something that I structure most everything around. In those pinpoint moments that I told you about, the first and the most blaring thought in all those was my family. Second is my education. I gave you a little background on who I am. I did have the amazing opportunity to live in 7 states in 7 years, 5 different states in 5 years. And it was incredible. I was able to see education on the streets of PS 178 in New York, all the way over to Oxnard, California, and Ojai. I taught in LA, and I taught in Compton. And people think, you know, I almost have to pull out creds that I have my Compton teaching. I've been there and I've done that. And it's really amazing when we're able to see and value different settings in education. I will tell you, I learned something from every single educational environment I was in. I hope they too learned something, but I truly walked away with some sort of fingerprint on my heart. In those 5 moves in 5 years, I had some pretty amazing experiences, and those experiences shaped me. Again, I'm not going to tell you they were all great experiences. There were times I failed, but even in those moments of failure, I found and learned something from it. Even in those moments of failure, I was able to reflect and figure out how I could either change things, how I could better things, or how I couldn't change things. And maybe my goal was just too far outreaching. So in those opportunities, in those experiences, those truly helped to build who I am today. And the last one's passion for me. I don't want to do anything unless I'm excited about it. When I'm excited about things, there's no holding me back. I will work a 16-hour day if I'm excited about it. If I'm not excited about it and I'm not interested in it, I don't want to do it. And I'm sure Thursday night, you guys are maybe not so excited about it, maybe don't want to do it. And I'm going to just kind of talk through some ways that you might be able to find some passion in it so that you too can get through it without tears and crying and kicking and screaming, which I'm going to tell you, there were tears and crying, kicking and screaming some Thursday nights in my house. So In 2018, which is not that long ago, right? I did it. It was hard. It was grueling. There were moments I didn't think I could do it. There were moments I didn't want to do it, quite frankly. There were moments I questioned why I did it. There were moments that I didn't know why I did it, to be quite honest. What did I need to continue to go to school for? Well, I realized I didn't need to go to school. I wanted to go to school. And it was a fire within me, just like there's a fire within you, that you are continuing with your education. And it's one of those moments that I can say, I have truly been in your seat. I have. In 2018, not that long ago, I was there staring at 11 o'clock at night at a discussion that I had no idea what it meant, where to start. I was exhausted from the day. I was absolutely just done. I was at my max. I was there in your seat. And I just hope that you understand the value that that end game will give you. Not because you need it, but because you want it, right? We're not doing this because you don't need a degree. Well, your employer might say you need a degree. So maybe, but ultimately you want it, right? You're working this hard for something, for why, for your purpose. And I'm telling you, I was in your seat and you can do it. And I remember thinking, gosh, this is an awful long journey. 4 years is an awful long time. When we conquer it with baby steps and we look at how far we've come rather than how far we need to go, it helps you. So today, I really am just going to give you, and like I said, I wanted to be fully transparent with you and just be honest, but here's what worked for me and kind of share some of my strategies that worked in hopes that maybe they can help you. So I am a teacher, like I said, I'm an elementary teacher by heart. So a lot of these things are catchy, and I hope you can stick with the catchy and they help you. So make it special. When I first started out, my children, who were very young at the time, were kind of not bitter that I was going to school, but they didn't understand it. They didn't share my dream, right? So I had to figure out a way to make it special. My husband lives in another state most of the time, or lived in another state most of the time for his employment. So it was myself and my 2 children. I had to figure out a way that I could manage it all. And it's hard, guys. You know that. It's hard. I had to figure out a way to make it special for them so they didn't have a negative outlook at school, towards school. I had to figure out a way to make it special for them so they would support me. What I did is we did Thursday night brunch, and they would have Frosted Flakes, Fruity Pebbles, whatever cereal they wanted. They could even have 2 cereals in the same night if that's what they wanted. And they chose their dinner. So very often, like I said, it was cereal at night, and it just allowed me that time. They looked forward to making their own dinner. It allowed me the time to kind of step away and do my own thing. That same night, they also didn't have to take a bath, and they got to put themselves to bed. So while I needed the time to do my work and my discussions, they needed the time to just have something special and do something special. And giving them that time allowed for them to value something that really wasn't of value to them in that moment. The other thing I would do is wink write the week. And again, I told you I like all these same letter words. Wink write the week helped me a ton. And what that is that basically before the class starts, when the class starts, you look at the week. You look at that top-down view and see, here's what's due in week 1, here's what's due in week 2. And you wink write it. So you just quick write it. You write down on, I need to do this. I need to do an interview. A lot of the early childhood education classes have assignments where you have to prepare because you might be interviewing a teacher. Well, you can't do that at Thursday night at 11 o'clock. So wink writing the week allowed me to see the bigger picture so that I could plan for it, okay? Connected to that is the next one, artificial due dates. If I had an assignment or a discussion board due on Thursday night, I didn't write that it was due on Thursday night in my planner. Do you know why? Because life happened very often for myself with the 2 children at home. So I would make artificial due dates. I would back the due dates up 1 or 2 days, depending on my schedule. And what that would allow me to do is tackle the assignments without a late penalty. The other thing that that allowed me to do is if I went to tackle the assignment and I didn't understand it, it gave me time to reach out to my instructor or colleagues or someone and just say, hey, what do you see here? What do you think in here? I need help here. So having those artificial due dates allowed me to be successful with the actual due dates. This one's a funny one, talk it thoughts. For those of you that knew me in my college time, I walked around with my phone like this a lot of time, just talking into my phone. And the reason is I'd have great ideas. I had some real bangers, some real great ideas. I would want to log them someplace. So I would open up my notes and I would talk in what my great idea was. Having that wink right the week allowed me to know what the discussion was. So if there was a discussion focused on play and I were to observe in a second grade classroom and I saw an activity, an interactive where the children were playing and they were also using, reader's theater to work on fluency, and I wanted to document it in my paper, I would talk it, and then I would later come back to it when I could remember it when I was doing the assignment. There were times when I would reach for my phone in the shower. There were times when I was driving and I would just be able to talk to text it. Those moments where something comes into your mind, be sure to grab it, because our days are so busy and we want to make sure, we're gathering those thoughts down so that later when we tackle the assignment, we have that to access. All right. So spinning wheels, step away. This is a big one for me. And it's a big one because I am a very stubborn person. I like challenges. Actually, I thrive on challenges, but when the challenges aren't, when the doors aren't easily open, I get a little bit frustrated. So for me, I realized that sitting in frustration was not a great place for me to be. It was not a great place for my personality to be. Even my colleagues can tell you that when I'm there mentally, I have to step away. And that might look like something different for all of you, but taking that moment, stepping away, decompressing, and then coming back often gave me a different insight. It often gave me different perspective. And to be honest with you, it took me out of the rut that I was just spinning in. Okay. Phone a friend. This was huge. Now, if your friends are like my friends, we like to take the time and we like to catch up. And usually a 5-minute conversation turns into a 45-minute conversation. We've only spent 15 minutes on content. My phone a friends were very efficient. And I learned how to make them very efficient. In the moment, I defined my purpose in calling. So I would say, Dr. Miller, hey, I'm calling about assignment, whatever. And I just made sure while I wanted to contact and I wanted to catch up with Dr. Miller, in that moment, I needed to stay focused. But I also knew that instead of sending an email, just talking through it with someone helped me. On that one, I would literally have my bank of 4 other colleagues and a couple of teachers, and I would say, hey, I'm phoning a friend. And those code words meant that they knew that I was knee-deep in content. I was knee-deep in assignments. I was knee-deep in research. And in that moment, I couldn't go to the place of just personal chat. I needed to phone a friend. I needed to stay focused on what I needed to get done. And I needed to be efficient with my time. This is something, the next one, over-communicate is something as a student, is really important. And I'm going to pause you for a moment and I'm going to flip on my cap of being an instructor here at University of Arizona Global Campus now. So as an instructor, I love when I know what's going on in students' lives. I love when they over communicate. Okay. I love when they say, hey, I am not feeling well. Do you mind if I have an extension on this assignment? I love that. Okay. As an instructor and as a student, there is so much power in over communicating. So much power. We never get enough emails from you. Very often it's the opposite. We're worried about you because we don't know what's going on. You have missed an assignment and we are worried. Okay. So over communicating takes away that question. It takes away that what's going on? Is there an issue with content? Is there an issue with understanding? It lets us know where you're at. Okay. So as a student, it is the best thing for you to do. Just over communicate. And the last two really are life lessons. And I'm going to tell you that I'm not really great at the first one. Give yourself grace. Like I said, I am a little bit OCD for those that know me, a little bit, detail oriented and task oriented. And we need to provide ourselves grace because it's hard. A lot of you are not only just students, okay? Deion just happens to be on my screen. And it is awesome to me that Deion is managing work, it looks like, managing school, it looks like, managing probably families and life. It is hard. So you have to give yourself grace, okay? You have to remember that very often our students or you guys are not just students, okay? There are other things that you have to tackle, and we have to remember that we want to continue to be strong, but we also, again, want to give ourselves grace. And the last one is continual reflection. Like I said, as I think about these pinpoints and I think about these things that, have built me and have helped to shape and make me, those have been very often the result of reflection. There have been many times in my life that I thought something would work and it did not. I had to draw back. I had to change things. I had to continually refine and reflect. And as students, you're going to do that too. Those artificial due dates that you saw above that I gave advice about, guess what? Guess why they've come about? Because I didn't hand in assignments. I couldn't hand in assignments. You know why? Because life got me. Kids got me. They came first, right? They're always going to come first. And life got me. So I needed to figure out what was going to happen, or I was going to be dropped, or I was going to be not making grades. So the continual reflection as a student will help you see what's working, what's not. Making it special. Remember I said above that making it special, cereal night for the boys. It became easier for me to let them choose their dinner. Make cereal night. You can have Fruity Pebbles, you can have Fruit Loops, you can have Fruity O's all in the same night. You can put them in the same bowl if you want. But I found a way that my kids could all of a sudden support me going to school. They'd actually tried, those little stinkers, tried to get me to do that school nights more than once. Used to be just Wednesdays, but they're like, do Tuesday, Thursday, because we can eat cereal. We can put ourselves to bed and we don't have to bathe. Trifecta. So we want to make sure that within this tough thing that you're doing, you're also taking the time to make sure it's a positive experience for you and the people around you. Because you're not the only one going to school. They're going to school with you, right? They're making sacrifices too. So just think about in those moments, some just little tips and tricks. Now I have, this is my last one. Okay, this is where I'm really going to show you, man, my why, and I'm sure you can see it on my face. Know your why and remind yourself of it often. Like I said, Wednesday nights, Thursday nights, whatever night your discussions are due, that's very often the hard night. The assignment nights are hard. Remind yourself of your why, whether it be your screensaver, whether it be, whatever, remind yourself of it, whatever tactic you have. These are my boys. And in 2018, I guess my boys were 11 and 13. They today are achieving their dreams. My son is a freshman and he is playing college football, which was the ultimate dream of his. It did not come easy. He struggled, he worked, he had to outwork everyone. He had to have more grit and more heart than anyone, but ultimately it is his passion and he is living his dream. My other son is now 16 and he is living out his basketball dreams. He is doing great in school. And his goal is to play basketball in higher education. So know your why and remember often. I really do think them seeing me struggle through it set a precedent for them. College football, getting to play college football is not easy. Getting to play college basketball is not easy. Obtaining a degree is not easy. They saw me struggle. Like I said, they saw me fight, but ultimately it was what we all wanted. And I'm super excited to have modeled that for them. There's really no better tool. I can tell them all day, education is important. until they see it, until they can understand it, that's when it truly becomes of value. Now, your turn. I talked a ton. I do like talking though, so that's a good thing. I want to just open the chat up, and I'm hoping that you guys have access to the chat. And I am going to start off by just asking for you to find that chat and just let me know what programs you are in, so that we can see who is here with us today. So I guess we'll start with that first. And then as we're kind of going through this and seeing who is here, psychology, we have a psychology, I want you to take note of the names. And the reason is that one of the things that helped me, and one of the things that still helps me today, are these connections. I am a firm believer in building community. I'm a firm believer in building culture. And having someone, even if they're in a different major than you, even if they're in a different field, I guarantee can relate to, oh my gosh, my discussion board is due on Thursday night and I have 6 other things to do. I have 0 energy. What's a strategy? What can we do? Been there, I feel it, me too. Having that champion there with you makes the journey a little better, a little easier. So it looks like we have a plethora of different, to healthcare administration, man, there you go. Human resources, organizational management, early childhood education, communication, awesome. Now I want to just see, so what do you guys want to hear? What do you want to know about? What do you want to, and I would love for you to come on screen. I would love for you to put it in the chat. I welcome conversations. Oh, I think I hear Journey. There you go. Journey, are you with us?
I am. I'm sorry. I didn't know I was not muted.
That's okay. I just wanted to say, hey, Journey, how are you?
I'm doing well. I actually had to do some self-care today. So today's a self-care day. I also have some assignments that are coming up, so I want to focus on those. I am a licensed massage therapist. I've been a massage therapist for, I guess, ever since I was a kid, basically. It's been a passion of mine. But as far as actually going in and getting my gen eds and all of that, I'm starting all the way over for my bachelor's in psychology, by the way. But it's kind of been tough because I lived 41 years in Missouri in the same houses that I grew up in. So I have traveled. I have been temporarily moved, and this was just an opportunity for me. I've gone through struggles in my entire life since I was 4 years old. Really, I don't want to go into detail, but you can kind of get the picture for yourself. I actually had a really rough childhood. I had witnessed other people. I had very few people that I had actually gone to school with, developed relationships with, going through the same thing. And even now as an adult, I've seen my kids, I've seen other kids having to go through some struggles themselves. And it just has never subsided. That fire in me has never gone away. I just thought being a massage therapist, I would be able to help heal people physically. And that's okay. But they still have to go back to that. They still have those same issues. So it's a never ending fire in me. And now at the age of 41, I was like, you know what? I think I've learned enough. And I'm not saying I'm not coachable. I'm not teachable. I have seen enough. I want to help. I don't want another child or anyone else to have to go through the things that they've gone through without having some kind of support, without having some kind of direction. And I will die trying, and that's literally speaking, that's not metaphorically. It's something that I can't stand to see. I can't stand to see someone suffering mentally. And then when they grow up to be an adult, per se, me, we haven't had any healing. We haven't had any metaphysical healing. And that's where I'm at with that. I just will not let it go. So this is something I've wanted to do for a very long time. I just didn't have necessarily the opportunity to do it. So here I am, and I'm not going anywhere. And I just really want to help children with traumatic experiences. And I also want to help people with PTSD and severe anxiety like myself who didn't have that opportunity then, but they are still able to be, talked with and helped for some ungodly reason, they changed. Hallelujah. I've done one job, one thing, one person I changed. And that's all I want to see. That's if I only help one person, I'm good with that.
Journey, that one person reminds me of the starfish story. And I can find that and put it in the chat. Excuse me. I hear your passion. I do. Got it. I just want to cough on camera. So I hear your passion. And what I loved is, as you shared your story, the people who are up, and I don't know if you can view the videos, but the people who were up were doing this. And that just shows we are a community here, right? We may have different views. You may have your view that you want to deal with a certain demographic and a certain population. But as you were talking, others were saying the exact same thing. So the good news is you are not alone. You are not alone in finding that fire. You're not alone in fueling that fire. You're not alone in moving forward. You have, 11 others in this room that are wanting to do the exact same thing. So I really encourage you to find those connections, to really find those people to help you move this educational journey forward. The other part of that is there is going to be continued struggles. That's not going to go away. But again, back to that one slide, 2018 was my toughest year. It really was. But guess what? It was the year I grew the most. So those toughest discussions are probably going to be those that push you and teach you the most. So Journey, everything you said is spot on. I just encourage you to keep going, but don't do it alone. Rely on the people here, rely on your instructors. UAGC has an amazing system of support. They really do. You need a number, there's a number for that. You call those resources, the writing center that is there for you, the library, right down to those mental health support centers. So anything you could possibly want, UAGC does a phenomenal job offering. So I just encourage you to keep going. And like I said, I saw the consensus with your story, which tells me we all have stories, just like Dr. Miller said. Why? Because we are all becoming accomplished. Applause, Journey. Sylvia, you had something.
Yes, I would like to say, Journey, I am 36, I think. I quit keeping track when I turned 30. I got my cosmetology degree, and now I'm back for my bachelor's, which is massage therapy was right there with me when I was in cosmetology. That's what made me think of that. But I got nickel implants at one point. It was like a hysterectomy, or it was like my sterilization. It gave me nickel poisoning. So 2 years ago, I had fog brain. I got lost in my bathroom. I couldn't even drive a car. So I can't use my hands anymore. So I had to stop doing hair because nobody wants your fingers locked up when you're getting your hair colored or like cut. It's no good. So now I'm back in school and it's hard. I have a learning disability and I'm two years in now and use no help. I did apply for voc rehab right now though, because this last course is getting me. And that's what you said is sometimes they get you and this course is getting me. So that's why
it's so funny you say that, Sylvia, because those courses, Ed Law was the one that was a tough one. And it was a tough one because sometimes the law might not be what's right. So for example, the law could state just this, but I knew this family and I knew this child and I knew he just couldn't take tests and you know what I mean? So there's always a backstory. So Sylvia, you're spot on too. The courses that are tough for us, the courses that are tough for us are indeed going to be tough. Those aren't going to go away. And I would love to have a magic wand to say it's going to get easier, but reality of it is it might not. You are going to have to dig deep and you may even have to provide yourself that grace, right? You might not have in that class the most perfect score. You might not have the most perfect experience. And again, I'm going to be transparent. You might have a little personality conflict with the instructor. Guess what, guys? It happens. And I could be the instructor. So I'm saying that with just all love. You might not see eye to eye with others in the class. And again, that's going to happen. That's real life. What are you going to do to get through it, right? Because you have to get through
others' ideas, because when it comes down to it, I'm a very open-minded person, and I love listening to other people when they have the opposite opinion of me, mainly because the next time I come across somebody with that opinion, I got a good debate. I mean, I listen to your side in order to make mine stronger. Yeah. I'm a debater, and you said you had like law. I loved government law, but you know, it's hard sometimes. You know, I have my husband though, so he helps.
And I think we have to rely on the systems of support. And it's absolutely one thing that we want to make sure, again, we're recognizing that. In the moment, we might not recognize that. We might feel spread so thin that often those that love us the most get the worst side of us. And I said that my family very often got that short-sighted Stephanie, where I just, no, you can't have, no, you can't, no, we can't do that. I have a discussion board, get out.
Stop yelling.
That's real. Yeah, exactly. That's real. That's real. But we have to stay focused on that purpose. We have to realize that it's not an Instagram. It's the real, right? We're in the real. And we just have to kind of, again, and I keep, Officer Green, you keep popping up on my screen. I just want to highlight that this is the real. It looks like, Officer Green, you are working, you are here, you are bettering your education. We're in the real world. We're in the real. And I just take the moment and realize where you're at and realize what you're doing, because you should be dang proud. All of you should be dang proud of the journey you're on. It's not going to be easy, but you should be proud.
I have one more question and I'll leave you alone. I'm doing my patient's degree. What is there any recommendations of an undergrad, like communications and business? Do you have any experience in what is the best to be successful in as far as that goes?
So as far as advising, the best person to ask this question and answer it honestly would be the advisors, just because we don't have that knowledge. I can give you lots of education, but as far as that, you really want to reach out to your advisors. Pick up the phone and give them a call, or script it out in writing and send it to them. Really kind of depends on your preference. For me, I tend to be a pick up and phone type of person. But for others, you might script it out and then email them. They are amazing. The other opportunity for you is also look at the Career Resources Center. And I'm not sure I can find the link in this quick moment, but the Career Resources Center has like a questionnaire of what your goals are, kind of what your history is, what your focus is. And it takes you from a very broad level look at your degree down to those specific areas that you might be able to practice in. It also looks at a little bit at your personality type, which is crucial when you're, determining. So check out Career Resources.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you for being here, Sylvia.
Well, I'm Deion Green, by the way. I'm from Atlanta, Georgia. I do buying on as well. So I'm going to school for criminal justice to get my bachelor's degree. I'm the last out of 10 kids. I'm the first in college, 27 years old. First graduated from high school out of 10 kids, and I had it rough in my days. So I just want to push myself and better myself, showing that I can do it, because I always was scared to go to college. So once I realized that it's out there for me, I just started my class on the 18th. So I've been doing good so far. So I just trying to motivate myself and keep myself going. So I've been shot in my face at the age of 21. I got married, got divorced at the age of 25. So I was living a fast life. So I just had to find myself. So like now, just want to motivate and just go through these 6 years strong, try to maintain all my class. If I have a question about the work, because it do get hard, like she said, and I ain't even started my course. I ain't even started my class yet. And it get hard. Like some of the little quiz and stuff already get hard and stuff but I be pushing through it. So I be trying to, I don't like my work to be late. And I just try to, stay motivated. They stay motivated. And it's a good service, because if I have a problem, they do, if I have a question, she put something on there to show me how to break it down. She'll break it down to me like the script. She'll break it down to me and show me but she'll put it for everybody to see. Because I just been moving forward since the 18. So my life had changed though, and I've been through a lot as a Black man, you know. And like I said, I'm 27. I graduated high school when I was 17, so I could have been did it, but I was scared at the time because I ain't had no support. My family didn't support me. My parents didn't. When I tried to go one time, my parents wouldn't try to sign for me to get a student loan or nothing like that. So I had to wait till I got grown. I did it myself. And I have kids as well, so I'm trying to better them, not to go through my lifestyle, what I went through in life.
I can't tell. Can you see my eyes? I don't know if you can see it. I am teary. Your story is powerful, and you are doing exactly what people do. That's not really what I want to say. You are doing something so powerful and something so brave. And to spend your time here with us today and really want to better your future is amazing. The variables you're facing are indeed there, and it sounds like you are really working towards obtaining your degree and being the best version of you. And I don't make many promises, but I can tell you, once you get that degree, Deion, you are going to look back and you are going to be filled with so much pride because you did it. So much pride because you did it. There are sacrifices along the way. There are struggles along the way. I don't get paid any extra for saying most of your instructors are going to be rock stars. They're going to be great. So when you have those struggles, like you were saying, when you need a breakdown or when you need resources or when you need certain things, reach out to them and they will. Our teachers here are good, like really good. They can come on and do videos. It can be something where you can pop on a phone. So don't give up. Any of you, don't give up. There are struggles, there are challenges, but I really applaud Deion where you are. Dr. Miller.
Yeah, if I could jump in on that one real fast. If you haven't noticed, I'm a Black man too. And I'm not first generation though. My father actually was first generation college student. So I was blessed to have that in front of me. But I've been an educator, over 30 years now, taught in urban districts. I'm from Philadelphia, so I taught North Philly. I mean, I know the deal. So this is what I want to say to you, young man. Listen, pick a spot on the wall, right? And you don't turn to the left or to the right. I don't care what comes to try to get you to look one way or the other, to pause your your motion. Anything outside of anything that causes you to not want to focus on that spot on the wall is an enemy because it's stopping you from accomplishing your purpose. And I'm going to tell you straight up, the enemy could be your best boy, it could be your girl, it could be a family member. Now, it's not an enemy meaning they want to harm you, but it's an enemy meaning they're hindering you from accomplishing your purpose. Your purpose is yours to accomplish. You understand? It's no one else's. That's the most important thing. That's why you're here on this planet. So that dream, that vision, that goal, that aspiration you have in your mind, you didn't come up with it. You were already designed with it. So on purpose, focus on that spot. And I don't care what comes, what kind of winds come. Because like I said, I'm a Black man and I know the kind of winds that can come your way, right? Yep. You stay focused on that spot and I don't care what happens. You keep moving on that spot on the wall. If it's fast, if it's slow, if you got to mark time for a minute, I don't care. Keep focused on that spot because that's yours to accomplish. And you're responsible to do it. And I'm gonna say this and shut up. Listen, we all have something to input into what we call this world, this cosmos. And that greatness that we have inside of us, if we don't release it, then somebody else does not have the opportunity to do what they need to do. So I need you to accomplish what you see in your mind to accomplish because that's going to make me greater. So this right here is personal, young man. You keep your eye on that spot.
So Deion, Dr. Miller and I go to graduation. Now we have a face with a name. So we're going to look for you in the next couple of years.
Yes, ma'am.
Listen, I'm going to put my email. I'm going to put my email in the chat and my cell phone number. If you need me, any of you, just text me, call me. We have your back now. You're part of the family now. We have your back. Yes. Sylvia, I want you to put your email in the chat. I want to see if I can connect you. You wanted to talk to someone in the business, a faculty person in business. If that's the case, I will try to connect you with one, but I need an email to get you. I'm sorry for butting in, Dr. Hill, but
well, thank you.
No, I love this. Deion, I'm not sure if you can read the comments, but I know sometimes it's, can you see the comments there, the chat?
Yes, ma'am.
As you were telling your story, someone said, I had to stop the camera to dry my eyes. So Journey, we're all in this together. Dr. Miller said, this is the community that we're talking about. We might have different classes, we may have different majors, but for the most part, our purpose is to be better. It is to take that power of one inside of us and be better for ourselves, for our children, for our parents, for our families, for whatever it may be. But we are on this journey together, and you have such a great level of support here. You have Dr. Miller's email. I can put mine in the chat. Please know that we are on your side. We are cheering for you. I was in your seat less than 3 years ago. I can tell you I've been there. I may not be up at 11 o'clock at night on Eastern time, but you know, I may not be able to get your text or your call right then, but I'm telling you, I've been there, and I can tell you, you can do it. You can. So as we're coming close to the end of time, I just want to say, with just full transparency, it is hard, guys. It really is.
I talk about the story, you know, just like, I'm surprised where I'm at now. Like, I'm surprised to just be sitting here, like, cause like I ain't got no support for real, like, and I'm happy like to talk, to open up to other people who I barely know. So, and I'd be like, that's crazy. I'd be like, wow, like I can only imagine, you know. But I just try to stay motivated, stay focused, and live my life. Like, that's all I can.
We love that. And Dr. Miller is a great resource. He has been here and he is able to share his stories. I am going to put a survey in the chat. If you do not mind, this is why we're doing it. You know, Deion kind of closed us out great. This is why we're doing it, because we have others that we can rely on. We are here for one another. So Deion, Desra, Dara, Aaron, Journey, Kristen, Rose, Serena, Sylvia, we are here for each other and here for you. So thank you so much for attending. The survey is there. I'm going to put my chat in the box, my email also. I'm proud of you all for being on this journey, and I do hope to see you at graduation.
Thank you.
Thank you.
If you get a chance, please do fill out that survey. It's how we're going to be able to, you know, make these things better for students that come along after you. So thank you for your time. You're part of the family now. We have your back. If you need us, just reach out. We mean that. We wouldn't say it if we didn't mean it.
Yes, sir.
Thank you all.
All right. Have a good day.
Thank you, guys.